to YouTube on the Channeling Perspective. I'm Alan Steinfeld, joined by Justin Land, and this is a program we do every 2 weeks to kind of look at who's out there, what's the new messages coming to the planet. We have two amazing women here today. We have Stephanie Light and Sarah Strong. Thank you both for being here. Wait, Sarah, you were just tuning in. Can you tell us what you were tuning into?
Yes, so I do every time before I channel or before I do any kind of connecting exercises with people, if I'm with clients, coaching clients, I always imagine my feet connecting to the core of the earth with the roots going down from my feet to ground and a beam of light from the sacred dimensions of light down through the top of my head, and creating a bubble of golden light around me. And then I call in all of my guidance so that they can be present with me during the session, so that I know definitely that it's my guides and all of the beings of the light that would like to channel through me, that it's their voice and not Sarah's voice.
Right. Can I just ask you, how did you know that? Did someone tell you that? Or is just, how did you learn all this?
I work with an intuitive life coach as well. I've worked with her for the last year, and I've also done extra courses with her, Epic Empath course with her, and I'm also doing an animal communication course with her currently. And I learn all those techniques. I learn all of those things through those courses, and also in my private sessions, I learn what I need to do to stay connected and also to stay protected from picking up all sorts of different energies throughout the day.
And how about you, Stephanie? What do you do to kind of prepare to channel?
Usually when I am getting ready to, get in the state, or I'm in the mindset of, okay, I have a client at this time, where I'm recording a transmission at this time. Normally what I do to connect beforehand is I close my eyes and I just relax my mind, because I find that when you do that, it allows that energy that you are going to be connecting with to easily flow to you. And so when I do that, I also visualize. Sometimes I will visualize the ship for the being that I channel. Or sometimes if I am channeling another being that I don't normally channel, I will just visualize that being. Sometimes it's a color, a consciousness, or I'll feel what it feels like when I think about that being. And by doing that, and then I just relax, it's like I just allow. And it does, I used to do a lot of different other types of meditation techniques, but I found that one was the best for me. And literally it's like making a switch on, in other words, for me.
And how long have you been doing it for?
So with the trance state channeling itself, I've been doing it for about 5 years, but the actual channeling itself, because I also do conscious channeling and I do automatic writing, light language, I've been doing that for about 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you conscious too?
I'm a conscious channeler.
You're a conscious. You don't go out.
No.
Okay.
I can stay eyes open.
Eyes open.
Mm-hmm. I can do both. Sometimes if I'm on a session one-on-one with someone, I'll close my eyes because I'm navigating through their subconscious mind. And it just helps me to, I have to have a level of unconsciousness. Well, I'm fully conscious, but I have to navigate the energy in a different way. But yeah, I'm fully conscious.
And who are your beings?
I work very closely with Jesus Christ, Mother Mary, Paramahansa Yogananda, Buddha, all the Pleiadians, Arcturians, Syrians, Lemurians, Atlanteans. They don't specify who they are through my channel. They just send words of light through me. I'm a messenger, and I'm here representing the bloodline of Christ as well. I'm bloodline of Christ. So yeah, so any beings of the light, Archangel Michael assists, all many beings of the light. I invite them all in, all the beings of the light to come and speak their wisdom through me.
And any questions from you, Justin?
No, I'm looking forward to what's going to come up. I mean, I know that Stephanie, I've seen her work with Cece from the Sasani, and it's very amazing. A friend put me on the trail of her, and I was like, oh, I don't know why these so many channelers are just popping up that I didn't even know about, and it's like it's the right timing, and yeah, looking forward to.
Yeah, Cece, she was saying, you know who Bashar is?
For sure. Mhm.
Those are the same civilization that you tap into. Be great to get you with Darryl to do a co-channeling sometime.
Yeah, that would be really, really fun. I would love that. And Sarah, I was going to tell you that when I immediately saw you, the first thing that I popped in my head was Pleiadian. That just like you just have that Pleiadian glow around you. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And you're from where? Do you have a connection, you're saying, Stephanie, to a certain star system besides?
Oh, I mean, everyone has several, but I mean, right now, a lot of my personal connections are going to be Lumaria, obviously Sasani, since Cece is another version of me, like you would understand it, maybe a future version of me. But of course, Pleiadian, Sirius is coming on strong lately within my vibrational field, just, but we all have many different extensions, right? And many different civilizations or even interdimensional beings. So, but it's really exciting.
Yeah.
The Syrian energy was the number one energy that's emanating from you. That's what I picked up immediately, Stephanie. So when you say that's coming through strong, it really is.
Yeah. Well, I have a Syrian guide that he's one of my main guides, and of course before we did this, I did ask for my strongest guides to be present. So that's really exciting. Thank you.
Maybe Alan, we should ask the two ladies who's with us at the moment. What are our connections? Alan's and
our connections.
Yeah, I would like to know that.
Well, I feel connected to everything people saying. Get anything?
So what's this a question specifically, Justin?
So is there, like you're saying, with Stephanie at the moment, the Sirius energy is predominant at the moment with me and Alan. What are the dominant energies?
What I get immediately is Arcturian.
Yeah,
both of us.
Immediately, both of you,
Really?
like almost in sync with both of you. Even the way you look, that you're tall and slender, like you look like their figure. And what I can read into your minds is that you're both quite analytical, technically minded.
Okay.
Hope you don't mind me looking into your mind.
No. I was going to ask you when you're channeling if I could like follow you into that place, if you don't mind, like kind of just tune in wherever that vibration is.
I don't know. I've never done that before.
Okay,
I'm open to that.
Okay, so we could keep talking about, or we can do it. So do you want to jump into the deep end? Are you ready?
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Just
Do you
have
want
to ask a question?
No, but just tell us how you prepare. Are you prepared now?
Yep. I feel very prepared. I can feel my Pleiad. I've got like about 5 or 6. They're saying 5 Pleiadians right next to me, off my right shoulder. They're all here. They're my council of light. So I have personally a council of light. Max, I believe there's 50 of them. They're nodding. They're like, yes, there's 50. I have 50 in my council who help heal me and fill me with energy when I'm feeling the density in body. But yeah, there's 5 of them present of the high council here now. So that my palms are really sweaty, which doesn't happen to me. I'm not nervous. So that yours asked who's with me. Yeah. So I've got confirmation that they're present. Also Metatron is who I've not channeled before, but he's like showing his presence, and Archangel Michael and Christ.
You know why you're getting Metatron? Because we're at the center for J.J. Hurtak, who actually had a face-to-face with Metatron and Enoch. Metatron's the higher level of Enoch. So this place is filled with a lot of Enochian Metatron.
We can't see the place. I just see the background. What is that?
Well, it's just a room, really.
It's just got a white background, but what I'm seeing is a really beautiful piece of artwork that's amazing.
Yeah, I can show that to you, maybe. Well, room.
Wow.
But I'll show it to you later.
Let's
But we're just in this little ugly background.
That's the Pleiades.
Oh, those are the Pleiades.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Oh, here we are. That's a little home planet for you. Now you feel better? Okay. I'm glad we brought that up. Now she can really channel the Pleiades. Okay. But the Metatronic energy is filling this place. So
it's very strong here.
Okay. So are you good still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. Let's just tap in. Let me just tap in. I'm feeling it off to that side too. Maybe from Thunder Mountain. I want to know, if they have a message for us at this time, for everyone watching, and where the future of the planet is going, Earthlings.
So they're saying that everyone just needs to relax a little bit more, that everything is in play, everything is in motion, and have fun, play more, be.
Oh,
We're at the moment where you're saying play more, frozen.
yeah. I thought it was me
You
for a
really-
second.
Uh-huh.
Froze.
Oh, we froze. Oh, okay,
Oh,
cool.
good. Go ahead.
Sorry about
So
that.
they're saying to try and forget about the chaos, and okay, yeah. And when you clear that from your mind's eye, it will clear and allow you to put something more joyful in place and play more and just relax more. Like, everything is not so serious. Humans take things so seriously. It's like, come on, like, guys, have fun. Like, you are in body to celebrate, to find your joy, to find your peace, to find true love. Like, if you feel like there's so many people searching for love. There's so many people out there that want to find love. If you don't know that you are love, and the love that emanates from your own being, every single cell of your being is created from the love light. And actually everything is love light. So when you go within yourself, when you go within your soul, if you meditate, if you exercise, if you swim, if you walk in nature, if you have an animal, that every single part of nature and what's natural in your natural world around you shows you love. So if you're not like communicating and communing with that energy, and you think there's outside of you, you won't be able to fully experience it. So they're asking you to just understand that love is an inside job. You don't need an extra being around you to experience the depth of love. You are love, and you are a pure expression of love. As soon as you come into body, as soon as you're in body, you're an expression of love. Although they understand, and they're validating that it's very difficult for some humans to understand this, like, because the density can talk to you. Ego tries to mask that energy from you, and the matrix has done a really good job of masking that energy from everyone. So it's and they're just validating that the matrix is starting to break down. That's why so much chaos is happening around. You'll see it in the news, you'll see arrests come through, you'll see certain things if you watch the news, that is. I know a lot of you won't be watching the news, but you feel the energy of it. So when you're feeling the energy of it and you feel the overwhelm, get into your body, maybe have a hot bath, watch some comedy, play with your animals, do things that lighten the spirit that's in your body, because the ego will try and take you down, the ego. And then they're also validating that there is a necessary flow sometimes where you need to feel down, and you need to cry, and you need to like withdraw from even your family. If you're married with kids, maybe you need to withdraw from them. You need alone time. Sometimes like people who are highly sensitive, a lot of starseed energy that's awakening in your beings right now, this needs newness. So all the things that you used to do, you're not going to be able to do. Maybe you had a drink in the past, or alcoholic drink, or maybe you smoked some spliff, or maybe you did certain things that aren't working for you anymore. There's new things that are going to heal the awakening of. They're saying healing and integrating the awakening of the new energies that are arising in your being. It's like staying open-minded to allowing that to lighten you from within.
So all this need for relationship and connection and wanting to be loved, is that not necessary if we know we're loved?
Well, it's absolutely necessary.
Okay.
They're just saying if the focus is constantly on the external, that humanity as a whole has missed the point on that in that respect. So you are love. So once you can experience that and feel it within you, then you become a magnet to that love. And obviously everyone, we need each other. That is also another point, is the isolation that everyone's just experienced, and all of this segregation of energy. It's discombobulating to the human spirit. We need each other. We need to come together. We need to be unmasked. We need to have just free and open expression, emotional support, life support, and energetic support. So they're really championing us to live life, choose love, not fear, choose life, not not the darker, not lower vibrational energies. And they're saying there's no such thing as good and bad. Like release those outmoded ideas that they don't serve humanity moving forward. There's a new earth being created, and the new earth is a very new energy. You need new things. So maybe it's just shifting and changing. Like maybe if you did one thing, maybe you've exercised, maybe you've ran your whole life. Maybe it's time to swim. Maybe it's time to do aerobics. Maybe it's time to do yoga. So it's just like shifting and changing, like just making tiny little adjustments. You don't have to be, they're like, they can witness the whole humanity just go swinging to the other extreme. It's like, no, let's take baby steps. Be easy with yourself. Go lightly. Take a little baby step here, a little baby step there. Maybe it's just, you just drop sugar from your diet, or maybe it's alcohol, or maybe it's, maybe it's something else that's a lower vibrational, has lower vibrational energy for you. Just drop it out of your life and see what happens. If you don't like it, go back to it. And they're validating that everything is different now. So everything, just try something new, try something different for you that will allow a new, they're saying a new beam of light to come into your life. And they're really validating that the ego is very difficult to deal with change. The ego doesn't like change. And they're just really validating that when it kicks up, get your ego on board. Talk to the ego, have a conversation with the ego, open the dialogue between you, your higher mind, and your ego mind, and say, look, things are different now, but it's okay. You get to come along the ride, and remember that it's a ride.
Wait, what's the difference between Sarah and her normal self? And because it sounds like what Sarah would say, so is there a shift in vibration here?
So if you hear me burping, that's energy clearance coming through. So I'm tuning into, yes. So the Pleiadians, it's me. And yes, that's true. But the higher mind that's coming through, yes, maybe all of these same ideas have, I mean, I live by these ideas because I'm living from a higher mind. And the beings that are here, they are channeling this information. They're saying that there's a stronger power. They bring a stronger power. So yes, maybe it is ideas that I've had. Even as I say, I'm not relating to myself. I'm relating to the higher energy that's coming through me. So it's an awesome question, Alan. It's really interesting because I've never had this experience before of having a question being asked to like differentiate whether it's me or them. And I know that it's just, there's no, at that level, they're laughing because that's such a human question and it's beautiful. They love all questions. They don't care how funny we sound, but we sound funny because at that level of vibration, it's all unified. So there is no separation.
Can you live at that level as Sarah? Can you merge these levels into this embodiment? Can you try it now? No, you don't have to, but
I chose to be human. I chose to come here in human form. So absolutely, I absolutely, I had a dream the other night. I go to the Council of Light. All of my team are around me. They all healed me with their light. 50 beings put light into my body. I am not in body at that time. I'm astrally projecting my spirit and my soul up into the dimension that the Pleiadians live on. They are light beings. So absolutely, am I vibrating at that level? Yeah, I'm a multidimensional being, and that's how multidimensions work. In this incarnation, right here, right now, this one I've chosen this time, is dense, and the body, well, it's dense right now. It's getting lighter and lighter minute by minute, and we are changing into a crystalline light body. So yeah, that's difficult. That's a hard process. I've had headaches like for months and months and months, and itchy skin, and all the different like short-term memory loss, and all the ascension symptoms that are happening. So it's like you're relating to me being in the higher vibrational all the time. So yes, there's an element of me that is always at the high vibration because I'm always like on a different dimension simultaneously as being on Earth's dimension.
Right.
But in physical form, that's a very, very, very slow process. It doesn't, it will happen over 10 or 20 years of being able to lighten, and then eventually we'll be able to teleport. We'll be able to, split out. Even our physical bodies will be so light that they can split, and we can deal with them more like we can on the astral plane.
Wow. But it's getting faster. It's slow, but it's actually quickening.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Wow. So Stephanie, do you want to go in and we'll go back and forth and kind of just, so we'll
Yeah.
jump in and we'll just all be in the pool.
So would you mind repeating the question?
Oh, I just
I'll
want
start going in. Actually, I'll start going in the state. It just takes me, maybe a few seconds so we can
Okay.
do that deep trance channeling.
to.
And then if you want to just re-ask the question to Cece.
Sure. So we'll give you a few minutes to do that. Oh. So do you have a message for us on Earth and this moment of evolution that we can go by or integrate?
We thank you for this opportunity, for this engagement, this day of your time. My name is Cece. I am also present with the Sasani Collective during this channeling experience. So the question in which you had asked us at this time, do understand this idea. As the channel had stated earlier in this particular interaction, the idea of self-empowerment itself is one way in which many individuals can understand that in each moment they can choose how they would like to have different types of expressions through various different, you could say, contrasts in all situations. It is up to them to choose this idea of self-empowerment, going back to the old outdated beliefs as victimization. As you understand that many individuals do still believe that they are, you could say, being hurt or harmed in some sort of way, whether this is coming from the government's perspective or those around them, such as family or friends. And by staying in this idea that things are happening to me, things are not necessarily happening to you, they are happening around you. And when you decide to take into consideration the vibration that you are choosing to connect with. So if you are choosing to connect with you are being a victim, then you will create and perpetuate the same experience. But when you understand that you are self-empowered, meaning that you unconsciously chose certain types of situations in your reality to allow a certain type of expansion to happen, then you can always choose how you would like to interact. As you understand, all truths are true. And when you choose to vibrate at a certain type of frequency where you are able to choose which one feels the best for you in all circumstances, then you are moving into more and more in a state of alignment with your true self, or in other words, your higher self.
So how do we, go ahead. Oh, I was just wondering, go ahead, sorry.
But in other words, we are just stating that whenever you are focusing on this idea of contrast, remember, you always have a choice in how you choose to perceive. As you understand, perception is literally everything.
So what's the best way to start to raise the vibration so we can be more of ourselves?
Yes. So first and foremost, understand that the way in which you can choose to raise the consciousness or raise the vibration of, say, the collective itself, it begins with yourself. So one way that you can begin this journey of raising your vibration is to begin by listening to what feels best for you. Although it may seem very simple at that, going back to the original statement, follow your heart, it is very similar in that respect. So in other words, as other channelers have said, follow your excitement. So we have simplified this a little bit for you to understand, and that is to simply go with what feels best for you. So if you are at a restaurant and you are looking at the menu and you are looking and you are saying, well, this one has more calories than this one, and this one just tastes better, and this one feels like I would like to eat it more, then go with what feels best for you and do not worry about everything else. Let go of the how, let go of the when, let go of the why, and simply be in the state of flow. And by doing this, you are shifting your vibration to a more accelerated pace. But when you understand this idea and experience contrast in your reality, so for example, say you do choose the one that feels best for you, in your menu at your restaurant and then it made you sick, maybe perhaps consider that this particular action is here to support you in some sort of way, although it may not seem that way. But when you experience that vibration, then this gives you the key to unlock the door to shift the entire experience itself.
And how we relate and what we think might be our excitement when it might not be what we thought it was, kind of working through the illusion, I think is what you're saying, right?
Yes, in some senses, but
Yeah.
what we are saying is in the midst of contrast, that in the moment, do not allow yourself to be experiencing the idea of defeat. In other words, change the way you are perceiving that situation.
Just
Maybe
oh, go ahead.
maybe the idea of false desires. Maybe you can touch upon that, because as humans, we often, like in that situation, maybe the alcohol that comes up for some people, where they believe it makes them feel good and will give them a certain expression of I don't know if that's a higher vibration in some sense, but it doesn't seem to be the following the highest excitement, although there is some sort of excitement involved with that, correct?
Well, yes, in a sense. And if you look at the big picture, many things happen in your reality and you make choices based on where you are at vibrationally. So in other words, if an individual that is experiencing this idea of drinking alcohol, for example, in the moment, it feels as though it is the most exciting thing, but they are a vibrational match to that experience. So in that moment, they may be experiencing their highest excitement, but maybe perhaps if you think about it from a bigger picture, maybe they had too much and they become ill and then they decide to toss it out altogether. And maybe the situations that are happening at that given moment provide an opportunity for a different type of experience, one that is, you could say, serving to that person's needs in the long run or in the big picture. So this idea of the false desires, yes, in some senses you could review it in that way, but understand you are a vibrational match to your experience, number one. And number two, when you think of your reality as it is here to serve you, not bring you down. So in other words, contrasts are always here to serve you. And when you begin to see that in your reality, the more you will begin to shift into a place of more of what you call self-empowerment, as we have mentioned earlier, versus the idea of victimhood. Because if you state that they are false desires, then you are saying that that is out of your power. You have no power over your desires, when this is not true. Because even if you were experiencing trying to kick the habit of drinking, and you yourself are at a vibrational match to that experience, and you in that moment decide to drink alcohol, then you are experiencing a different type of contrast. And in that moment, you must accept your choice that you make and understand it is a choice. But when you say that your outside circumstances determine your choices, then you are simply giving your power away. And this is what we are talking about earlier in this particular transmission, is that many individuals in your collective are still choosing to give their power away to outside circumstances or other individuals. It is like taking on other individuals' beliefs and throwing them in your backpack and carrying around your backpack with all of these other beliefs. And then when you begin to unravel them, you begin to understand that, where did this come from? I didn't know I believed this. Well, at some point in time, you were a vibrational match to that belief. And over the course of time, and many of you are seeing this now, there is physical health problems manifesting because the backpack is getting too heavy. And the physiological body is beginning to respond to these energies. And therefore, many people are beginning to have to change different things in their reality, such as the idea of looking at these beliefs, such as the idea of looking at their diets, looking more and further into how they can get into more of a wellness state of mind, things of this type of nature.
You have a question?
So we have a question from someone on YouTube. He said, "How do I find out who I am?"
Good question.
Well, this is a very interesting question. And this is probably one of the most exciting questions because many of you do not realize you have this capability. By closing your eyes and just centering yourself, whether this is just breathing, whether this is just quieting the mind, whatever feels best for you in that moment, and begin to recall all of the things that are exciting to you. This is very simple. Yes, indeed it is. But as you had once stated earlier, Sarah, during your transmission, that humans like to complicate things. They make things hard. And this is the work of the ego. But when you understand, for example, say you look at your brother or your sister or your friend and you say, wow, they are an amazing artist. I wish I could be like them. Well, perhaps this is one of your strengths that you have not fully tapped into yet. Or you are excited about the civilization, as Sirius or the Pleiadians. Perhaps this is an expression of you, not only in your DNA, but perhaps maybe even a counterpart, or in other words, another version of you, a future self, perhaps. These are just some of the ways that you can begin to understand who you really are. Because the mind wants to overcomplicate things, overanalyze things. But really, in reality, it is your natural self when you stop and you relax. This is when the mind is allowing the higher self or natural self to take the front seat. This is when all of your ideas come into your awareness much more flowing.
Right. I was just wondering, could we do a little experiment here? Me and Justin like to experiment.
Definitely.
Is there anything the Pleiadians want to say to the Essasanis or vice versa? Can we try that in that state, or just
What's coming through is thank you. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your light. Thank you for being so free-flowing with the energies that are coming through. Thank you for the desire to heal the human race. They have an equal desire to heal the human race and uplift of all of humanity. So we're on the same team. They're saying.
And what does the Essasanis have to say?
Yes, and this is very true. We are all within the same type of collective, and we are very happy to have experienced this interaction. And now we do want to share that the Pleiadian aspect of the channel is laughing at this time because the energy is very strong around the channel and they are trying to peep in. They want to come through, but the channel is continuing to allow the connection with me from Sasani to stay very strong. But they are laughing in that way. But we do appreciate the Pleiadians very much, as they are very much connected to the human collective. They are working very diligently with strong love and providing many humans with certain types of educational experiences through their consistent love, with the connections with many of the channels along this earth. They are doing such a beautiful job, and we are very grateful to be able to experience this interaction this day.
Well, could we get some of the Pleiadians to come through if they wanted to get this Essasani want to step aside for a second, and we could, get a double Pleiadian cocktail here? Something.
Yes, we can do this. One moment while we allow the transformation between myself and the Pleiadian collective. One moment. Hello, greetings. Greetings from our kind to yours. As we extend our deepest love for this interaction, we thank all of you We thank you, Sarah, for being such a strong light. We thank you for this opportunity to allow this connection to be in this place at this time.
We have a question that's come through about from YouTube is what is the purpose of relationships?
This is a beautiful question. Relationships are aspects of each and every single one of you. Relationships allow the growth of humanity, a deeper understanding of yourself as a human, but your peers around you, amongst you. One time long ago, humans lived in a very strong and loving collective. The collective would be very similar to ours, except the human race has not gotten as accelerated in their expansion as us, but we recognize that the human collective at one time was very much similar to ours. And relationships were a gift. They are a gift to allow each and every single one of you to embrace the true love that you are. And the light that emanates from each and every single one of your hearts. Sometimes it may not seem such as so, but we will confirm and stand behind you with this immense amount of love to support you, to nurture you, to bring you back to that place that you once in your collective experienced.
Thank you. I can reply as well.
Yeah. I just was noticing though, when you started to channel this double Pleiadian energy, the wind picked up all around us and it was very strange. Yeah, please reply.
Yeah, the energy was very strong during that shift.
Mm.
So the messages in confirmation and validation also, as what has come through Stephanie's channel with the Pleiadians, is the divine mirror that relationships provide all humans. So if you are resonating at a certain level of energy, then you will attract a similar resonance of energy. And sometimes it may be of a slightly different vibration in order for you to learn the intricacies between your vibration and their vibration and what you're there to grow and learn from. So if you've attracted someone into your life who is an intimate relationship, that relationship is there to teach you all of the things your soul craves to learn in this particular moment in time. So your soul and their soul have a plan. That sometimes the human mind, obviously the ego can get involved, and the mind, you can have conflict, it can be extremely free-flowing. All of these experiences are all in service to you. So everything, and then again, it's like, how much seriousness are you bringing to each interaction with people? They're just kind of asking you to open your mind about relationships. So when you go to the store and you buy something from someone, that is a relationship for a very small amount of time. So everything in life, you have a relationship with a plant, with an animal, obviously your family is a very long-standing relationship, but they're asking you and really just challenging you to create these moments of connection. Like every moment matters, because every moment really matters. And when you start to create this divine connection between all of the interactions you have with literally every person that you come in contact with throughout your day, what you start to build and bridge is this really beautiful flow of interconnectedness between every single moment. Like, you're not going, I can only love one person, this is the only relationship. That's very segregated, very disunified. We know that's not a word, but we're fucking with you. A very disunified version of being, of thinking, and to get back to a more unified way, it's much more comfortable to be unified, to be at one with the energy that is running through you and running through every single molecule that's in your reality, to understand that you can bring joy. If you call someone by name who's serving you some food, if you ask someone how their day is, you lighten their journey, you lighten also your own journey, because you're creating a moment of connection. So they're saying that these moments of connection are so important for you to create a beautiful flow for you. And actually, when you teach it to your children, when you teach it to like have interactions with nature that are more like, plants will talk to you, animals can talk to you, you know, rocks can talk to you, mountains can talk to you. Every single thing has a soul inside of it that you can commune with, you can have a relationship with. So I understand this question may have been directed towards intimate relationships or friendship relationships, whereas actually you can have a relation, and there's also self-relationship, that you can have a relationship in the split second and create such a beautiful moment of joy and love in that moment, even though you may not call it love, because it doesn't, you're not in love with the person that you're paying fuel from, but you know, you can create these moments of connection, which will actually have a really beautiful flow effect in your life.
But are we here to fall in love with all of humanity, or sometimes people say this is the one and that's who I'm in love with, but it's all these different forms and shapes. I mean, isn't it for everyone?
So it's a beautiful question. And I'm getting multidimensional levels of answers to that at the moment. So it's very interesting because there are so many answers to that question. At the very highest, this is coming from the 12th dimension of energy. Everything is unified. Everything is one. You are love. Every single thing is love. There is the only vibration is love. That's the only vibration actually that exists. Our perception of the energy is completely different in human form. So as we come down into the 5th dimension of energy, it becomes a more visceral feeling. 5th dimensional energy is the energy that the 3rd dimension is extremely connected to. And I am a bridge, Sarah, I'm is weird in this channel, but Sarah is actually a bridge between the 3rd and the 5th dimension, resonating simultaneously between the two, to be able to be embodied, be conscious, and be here and have that energy not tax the human form. So all of you people out there, I know you have a lot of questions about the 5th dimension of energy. So we're going to go into that just for a moment, is that the 5th dimensional energy is just a shift in your own physical form. You can, as Sarah's an example here for you, that you can resonate at the 3rd dimensional energy, and you can also resonate at the 5th dimensional simultaneously, as that is where new earth energy is being formed and created, new earth, and an emergence of this unified feeling. So that is high level information to some of you, and it's planting a seed for others that haven't heard this level of information. They're just validating. Some people are going, oh, I don't quite understand that. So they just want to validate for you that I'm a seer. I can see everything. I can feel energies of even everyone viewing. I can feel you. I can feel your confusion. So, and that psychic ability is very natural and normal on other planets. So it's not actually special on other planets, but it's obviously it's a phenomena that some people may not be used to. Sarah read into Justin and Alan's minds earlier without entire permission, but they seem quite open to that. They asked the question. So they're just kind of validating for you that, yeah, energy is much more fluid than it appears, and that it's perceived on the 3rd dimension. And it's way more powerful and a lot more magical than some people have given it credit for, because it feels dense. And all the emotions come along with that. So I know I'm getting away from the question, which is about love, and are we here to fall in love with everything? Actually, the answer simply is yes. That's the answer. Yes, you are. You're here to fall in love with yourself in its entirety, in your entirety, your mind, body, spirit, every single being that is close to you. If you don't have entire love for them, that is a lesson. That is a beautiful, that's medicine in your life for you to learn what's getting in the way of you feeling complete love for either a sibling, your parents. This Sarah is inside going, yes, I relate. I have a strained relationship with my mom. And so these are all medicine inside of why you don't feel complete love for everyone in your life who's close to you. And then the extended version of that is being out in the world and being able to love every moment of your life. So if there's if that's not happening, there's beautiful lessons in medicine in why that's not happening, because at a soul level at a multidimensional level, that you are love. And so there's just lessons through the density that you get to learn through emotions, through pain, through all sorts of different human experiences. The senses don't exist on other dimensions. So you've chosen to be here now to feel all that you're feeling in order to learn the only lessons that you can learn in body. You can only learn them here on the third dimension. It's obsolete. That the energy of those the other dimensions are far more advanced.
Beautiful. Thank you. What about the Pleiadians on the place that they're living? What's their relationships like? And are they in love with everyone? Is that still a lesson that they have to kind of integrate? Or is it just a beautiful love, I wouldn't say orgy, but a love vibe on all levels?
Yes, as you understand, our collective is very much intertwined. We all vibrate in the same frequency.
Okay.
As a collective, we share love amongst each other. And we experience this love in many different forms. But we understand that we are love. And when we understand that we are love, everyone and everything around us is love. And this interconnectedness that we share amongst each other, we also share this with the entire universe, the feeling of love. But feeling love is just not a feeling. It is a natural state. You are all unique expressions of source love. And this is what creates this experience that you have on Earth. But all of you have chosen to come to Earth to experience Earth and its transformation. And this transformation has a lot to do with love.
Beautiful. So your relationships are not restrictive to individuals.
Yes. Some of us experience different forms of relationships, but we all understand love the same way, and we do not carry these types of restrictions that humans would have.
Right. Justin, anything from you?
Well, I mean, actually, kind of a personal thing that I've discovered in myself, that when I look at people's eyes for a period of time, and in the mirror, I can see other faces. Some of them look alien. Some of them. Is that me, or I mean, what is the connection there with these other beings I'm seeing and in the faces of others? I don't know if one of the Pleiadians can answer that, or either or.
I can answer. Yes.
Sure.
The transmission coming through in confirmation that what you're experiencing is your multidimensional vision, and that yes, you are seeing. So time is only exists on the third dimension. So when I say past, present, future, I mean now. So you are seeing past incarnations of the soul that also more that have a deeper connection to that soul. So maybe they're also operating from the level of that incarnation in that moment in time, where that the human self may not be aware of that. That actually may be a gift that you're here to offer the world. Justin, I don't know what you do personally, but if you have that vision and have that ability, that so humanity, there's a point of integration that is really important and really essential with the integrating the energies between the third and the fifth dimensional energy, when as Earth is shifting in her energy. So Earth does it really easily. She's Mother Earth. She just shifts. Whereas in the human form with ego, self, and all these other beings. A lot of people are being awakened to their past lives, to the gifts that they're here to give the world. And the integration process of all of those energies is really important, and can also bring people a lot more security and a lot more points of connection in their current life. So maybe someone's always been fascinated with the stars and they never knew why, or maybe someone is like always felt weird and never fit into any single like group in their whole life, and now they know that they're starseed. So if you can see them relating to previous incarnations in current form, you may be here to illuminate the whys, you know, illuminate the reasons that they're connected, because there's so much wisdom in other incarnations. There's so much wisdom from other life forms that are resonating in the body, and they're here for a reason. They're here to help integrate all of those energies into the now.
You know what I get picking up on the Pleiadian channeling stuff is when you see these faces, these ET faces, you are seeing multidimensionally. You are seeing beyond the human eyes that are restrictive to its conditioning. I'm sort of channeling right now.
Yeah.
You're sort of seeing the higher minds coming through. So what we call imagination is really the vision of multidimensional realities overlapping into the human dimension to see the wider view of what humanity really is as we unfold into greater beings. Thank you, Pleiadians.
Oh, thank you. Beautiful, guys.
This is the first time I sort of channeled on the air. Okay, Stephanie, what do you say when we see through these other levels?
As you had stated previously in your words, that your imagination is a doorway. This is what we confirm with you. And your imagination can bring you to many different expressions of yourself. These many different expressions that you can connect with can provide you with knowledge or wisdom from these other aspects of you. If you allow, tap in to this imaginary part of you, you will see many, many things. And when you believe in yourself and your ability to see into these other aspects of you, you will then receive more and more of the awareness of these other aspects. And when you say that, yes, when you look at others, or when you look in the mirror and you see these different civilizations, they are other aspects of you. And the ability that you can share with everyone around you is here to assist you along your journey. And this multidimensional aspect is what each and every single human already has access to. But the more that you begin to awaken and remember, the more you will be able to see this. Justin.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, Sarah here is just clearing some energy. She, which comes out sometimes as burping and all that because you're.
So as truths come through, it triggers the ego. So we just want to validate everyone out there hearing these messages. Thank you for your messages on YouTube and questions. We have some really, really magical questions coming through. And just to witness you all, yes, sometimes the ego gets triggered. And yes, sometimes what happens is information comes through from your soul into your physical body, and the body doesn't necessarily know what to do with that information, and it can come through. I personally, like Sarah, cleanses that some of those blockages through burping, through sneezing, through all sorts of, sometimes yawning, sometimes laughing helps. You know, they're all different releases that happen in service to the collective. So I might be clearing energy here. It's not necessarily for Sarah. It's it can be for people on the call. It can be for maybe even you, Alan.
Thank you.
It's just clearance of the energy.
But wait, I have a great question. But before I have that question, it looks like, Stephanie, you're in bliss when you're coming through with the Pleiadians. And you too, Sarah, when you just smile and sort of glow when the Pleiadians are here.
Her air is blowing. Is that the fan, or what's going on?
I don't know. But can you describe what's happening in the body of Stephanie as the Pleiadians activate that?
Yes, as you understand that Stephanie is, yes, in a state of bliss. It is the experience of being one with this light energy, embodying, and this itself is allowing Stephanie's ego to be put on the side and allowing the state of bliss where she is currently at. We do have a fan that is blowing.
Cool.
And for you, Sarah, are you feeling that in your body when the Pleiadians are coming through?
Yes, I'm very aware of their energy. So I feel very heightened. I feel happy. I feel very grateful to be of service in this way, so that their messages, because they don't have voices, so they need us to open a channel and be a clear channel for the information and the wisdom to flow through, so that everyone can benefit. So,
you know,
yes.
when you're both in that state, and even Justin, I'm getting it from you, there are no problems. There actually are no questions. There's just being, in a sense. Is that
true.
Is that how
We're just here in this present moment anyway. The mind tries to project into the future or do all sorts of things, and there is just the present moment, and actually everyone can be and experience the bliss of the present moment. Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about that. He's a master of the power of now. He's a very, very adept at that. So he's very accessible as well, which is great. We love people who are accessible, who are easy to understand and follow and uplift humanity. So it's very special.
So one question from Steve on YouTube is, how can we strengthen the multidimension and the quantum aspect of our work? For example, sense my past lives, higher density selves, working similarly in different points of time and space, yet in one now point.
Well, that's a perfect follow-on from what we were just talking about. It's that when you are focusing all of your energy in the now, the division of what you're talking about of being, it is quantum. The now energy is quantum energy. So as soon as you bring all of your awareness and I'm going to really make sure I answer this question. So you want to strengthen the multidimensionality and quantum aspect of your work. So meditation is the number one. If you're not meditating already, a meditation practice is number one, like the most important to strengthen that energy. And I don't know what your work is, but it sounds really magical. So when you're, and at the heart space is also extremely important. So when you're meditating, and if you can meditate and focus your energies on your heart center, this energy connects you multidimensionally within yourself. And whatever work you're talking about, I'd like clarification on exactly what that is, whether that is spiritual work and healing work. So let's talk about healing work and spiritual work. That energy connects you, the heart energy connects you to the sacred dimensions of light, connects you to your higher self, which is the same thing, and to your guide teams. It connects you to the higher vibrations of energy. And that if you're using your body, if you're using your words, if you're using any part of your physical body, that energy then can flow through you. We call it Reiki. We can call it energy healing. We can call it all sorts of different names. You could even, public speakers use the same energy when they motivate people. John DeMartini, he uses that power, the power of the quantum field to do transmission. So when you're doing an energy transmission, that is quantum energy. And Yes, and so the example here is sense my past, future, and higher density self working similarly in different points of time and space, yet in one now point. So it's the culmination. It's drawing your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your physical self, and your soul self into the moment, and in that way becoming single pointed. So there's many different modalities, spiritual modalities that talk about being single pointed. There's a meditation you can do that you look at a candle and just focus and watch a candle. That enables your mind to become single pointed. And when your mind, what happens in the mind is it's so powerful. The mind is so powerful that when you focus on one thing, it becomes so powerful. It's called focal training. So to focus on the candle, that will bring you inner peace. It brings inner peace. If you focus on a goal, you manifest that goal into your life because you have a single pointedness about that. There's all sorts of authors. There's so many authors. There's one author that he might be here actually, Wallace Wattles. He wrote The Science of Getting Rich, and he talks about focal training, focus just solely on one thing. This is beautiful. Thank you very much for this question, because the information and the wisdom coming through for that is focus on one thing. If you're eating, focus on eating. Focus on nourishing your body. Imagine that you're totally nourishing your soul and your body, and you're giving to yourself, and you're healing yourself from the inside out. And if you're taking a bath, focus, bring all of your energy and all of your awareness into having a bath. If you're running, focus on running. Stop the mental chatter. Focus all of your energy into what is your legs doing, what is your blood doing, what are your arms doing. Like really bring all of your awareness into the moment, and you watch how much more powerful you become. And then what happens is new neural pathways will be created, actually, to disengage from the idea that there is a future or a past. There is only now.
It's kind of ironic when you're really present, the multiple dimensions are more accessible. It doesn't sort of like a contradiction, but it's not, because we're present on many levels. When I think there's a saying in the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said, when you're really here, all is known. And
it's very true, because you're actually they're talking about the Akashic records. The Akashic records are all information that ever will exist and never has ever existed in our word time, in the English version or the human version of the word time. And every single thing exists there. All wisdom, all knowledge, everything. Actually, for anyone who would like to tap into that, there's practices and ways to do that, but it is actually available to everyone.
And Stephanie, do you want to talk about the multidimensional aspect and strengthening that awareness, or whoever you are in Pleiadian form?
Yes. So as you see it fit, that much of what Sarah has stated is indeed true. But also, when you know that you are this multidimensional being, it creates an experience for you in each moment. By becoming aware of it, you open up the door to invite more of its presence. By strengthening this awareness in your life through meditation, through mindfulness practice, through following what makes you the most excited, playing your imagination, being open to the differences amongst your kind. These are some of the ways that we see will help humanity tap into or strengthen, because you are not strengthening, you are tapping in, because it is as strongest as it could ever be. But you are tapping in to that experience of that knowing. By using these aspects or guidelines, then you give yourself permission to really tap into those multi-dimensional parts of you. There are many different expressions of each and every single one of you. And these different expressions have very many different types of experiences, and being open to many of the people around you now, you are inviting more of that awareness of accepting those multidimensional aspects of yourself.
Mm, thank you. So there's a question, maybe it's a little controversial. And Justin, do you have anything to say before?
Well, I mean, a little bit of a different topic, the idea of living in the present moment and being aware. I've discovered, we have, as humans, we have a lot of things on our to-do list, right? But literally, the thing that's right in front of us is a thing that the universe is telling us we need to deal with that first. And if it brings up something like limiting beliefs, that is a limiting belief or the thing that needs to be dealt with in that moment. Can you maybe confirm that, or maybe elaborate a little bit on this how this works?
So something that was, oh, okay.
Either or.
Either one.
Stephanie, you can go.
This idea of limiting beliefs, as you are in each moment, and if you do have a limiting belief that is a part of your experience, something that you have adapted to, in this awareness of this limiting belief, you may have to acknowledge that you may be experiencing a part of yourself as a human in your past. But when you are in the practice of being in each moment, that is to recognize that you are who you are in this moment. Observing a belief that is no longer working for you by looking in the past does not mean that you are not in the present. You are understanding that your past, you have once created an experience that allowed you to be both in your past and both in your present. But by severing your connection, by understanding how this served you and acknowledging it with love, allows you to then refocus back into your present moment.
Thank you. So we have another question, because it's been up for a lot of people about the virus, the vaccine, and from a higher perspective, let's just see what the Pleiadians have to say.
So the messages that are coming through with regard to that are that it's very important to stay in a state of love rather than fear. And there is a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of things flying around that aren't real, that aren't true, that so they're just saying, no, it's not necessary. If you feel in your heart necessary for you to take it for your own peace of mind, that is your own. Everyone has free will. So it's very important that you don't allow any information that you hear that overrides. If you feel in your heart you really, really want to do something, that is what your will is telling you to do. So I know that there's a lot of information, fear-based information, telling people that there's a virus that you need a vaccination for. The information that is true is that it's not a vaccination. It's actually not at all a vaccination. That vaccinations take up to 7 years to test. This is information that's come through from a doctor who's a father of a friend of Sarah's. So it's just educate yourself, feel the information, learn to like not just ask a question, have an answer and believe that answer. Learn to research, find out what you might know about it. So Sarah's like inside going, Sarah's known about this her whole life. She's known there would be a cataclysmic event that would split humanity, that would divide humanity, and that people would feel very, very drawn to getting a shot that people are being told that will heal them and will protect them. If you read news, there is a lot in the news that it's not doing that. It's causing a lot more drama in people's lives, that it's actually causing people to die. It caused a lot of children to die in Thailand. So just educate yourself. They're asking you not to listen to an answer, but to educate yourself, become empowered. And when you have fears, be honest with yourself that you are afraid, and face the fear and ask yourself, find the medicine in the fear. What is the medicine in the fear? So the answer is, I know that we're not exactly answering the question. It's like, educate yourself and feel into the situation, learn to be your own guide, learn to empower yourself. The biggest message here is empowerment. Sorry,
But
Alex.
there's also something called the placebo effect. If you believe that something will work and help you, the power of your own thoughts can override whatever it is that is external to us. So there's that element. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying we're more powerful and our thoughts are more powerful than what the external world might be presenting. What about you, Stephanie? Any comments?
So just tapping in through conscious channeling, what I'm being told is this idea of the placebo effect, right? It is really, in reality, it is that when we believe so much in ourselves, or we believe so much in something, we are creating the experience of what? Law of attraction, right? We're in that vibration of what it is that we are believing so much. That's the same thing when it comes to prayer. When people experience this prayer for themselves, not to say that, not to say anything about religion, but this intention, when you strongly set your intention and you actually believe in that intention and believe that it will come to you, then you are creating that bubble where you are getting in the vibration of what it is that you're intending, because you're not giving into, say, limiting beliefs or things that are, going to obstruct that flow. And I love how Cece describes something, right? So she says that there are many different doorways, right, of opportunities, right? And when we have, say, something, our intention, and it's building, right? And it's creating this huge, like, ball of energy, say, but then we close all the other doors or windows, right? And we have this little narrow passageway, and then we're trying to push it through. What happens? We obstruct the flow. But when we believe in that intention, then we're opening up all the doorways and we're just allowing, because we know it's going to be coming to us in any sort of way. I know that got off a little bit of the topic of what you were saying, but that's kind of what's coming to me in the moment.
But is there a resolution? Do we get out of this thought farm that's been consuming the earth for the past almost 2 years, year and a half? What do you, any of you, on whatever level of channeling you want to tap into, Stephanie, what do you have to say about our next phase and completing this phase?
So right now, the collective is going through massive shifts, right? We know that this fog that we are experiencing, when people begin to get out of the illusion that they actually are in the fog, and it itself is not itself is not consuming them, then they give themselves an opportunity to be more of that self-empowerment, right? And they are making choices that are better in alignment with what they want to see happen. So Cece likes to describe it, when we focus on what's actually happening, like we're getting lost in the vaccines, the virus, and I mean, it's kind of hard not to, right? It's everywhere. We get lost in all of these expressions, but then we forget what it is that we want to actually experience. But when we begin to get into that vibration of what it is we want to experience, then the more we notice it, instead of noticing, say, the fog, they're saying loud and clear to me, they're saying, instead of noticing the fog, begin to notice what's after the fog, right?
Mm.
Begin to notice the changes that are already happening. And the more that we as humans do this, even on a collective basis, the more you'll see that fog begin to lift. And these are times, these are transformation times. And it really is just depending on not only each individual, but as a collective, when we will be able to fully transform from those experiences.
Do you get that about this time, or do you want to take that question?
So yes, that absolutely, yeah, in agreement with, yeah, absolutely. Your focus is more powerful than anything. Your focus that's within is more powerful than anything outside of you. This is a fact. To your point, Stephanie, about the law of attraction. If you are fearing something, you will draw it into your life. And if you're living in a state of light and acceptance, you will draw more of that to you. So there's a lot of like comments and things like that on YouTube from our audience, and thank you for all of them. Thank you. I know that some people feel they want to put their opinions out there, and actually it's quite in opposition to what the channel has come through on. The channel is like, empower yourself, don't listen to other people, follow your heart, follow what's inside of you, allow your own inner guidance and your own inner voice to be the strength that you learn to rely on. So don't rely on anyone else's information, because it's not your truth. Your truth is your truth. So where you're going and the life that you're living is only for you. So in this human form, you get to choose. You absolutely get to choose. And if you don't know something, you can learn it. It's very easy now to learn on the internet. It's very easy to empower yourself and to expand your wisdom and your knowledge base. It's so easy now. So anything you don't know about, and then if you can't find the information that you're looking for, maybe then check in with your guidance, check in with somebody who may know more than you, and ask your guidance to bring you the wisdom that you crave, that you desire. Ask for it to be revealed to you. That is the most key point in life, in prayer. You can ask. You don't even need to pray. It can just be a question that you're sending out into the universe. You ask for what you want to know. Believe that you can receive the information and receive the information. This is the law of attraction. So yeah. So there's another beautiful question here.
Before we go on to the next question, I think Cece just wants me to say something about the comments. So one of the things that is very important for humanity is that we understand that in each and every single moment, we have a choice. Yes. We can choose to continue to walk around, with our head down and allow the circumstances to be dictated of how we feel and how we respond. Or we can always choose to see the big picture and allow ourselves to understand that everything that is happening right now or has happened is all, when you look at it from the most, of course, the highest dimension you can imagine, that things are here in the support of love, whether it is something contrasting, something you prefer or not. But as we evolve, we begin to understand, yes, self-empowerment, empower yourself and know that in each moment, you always have a choice. Think about it this way. You can choose to be a victim and continue to feel sad and feel angry and feel all these contrasting emotions, right? Or you can acknowledge and accept that this is what is actually happening and choose a different perspective. That perspective that you choose can create, even if it's 1%, can create the most massive shift in your reality. And this will be amplified. It will be reflected back at you. And then you will begin to see the blessings that were in disguise. And now you will be in a place that is not sad, that is not angry, but it is more understanding, more compassionate, and more of this pure consciousness that you truly are.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, yes. What's the question you want to address here?
There's just and the last question that got asked is there any opposition to moving forward into a civilization that is even more informed? So this is yeah. So I can
Well, there is opposition because there is factions that don't want us to evolve, but we are working through it because the whole earth is moving to a higher vibrational field. So that opposition, I feel, is falling away. That's what I get.
Yes. So the wisdom that has been coming through for some time is that, yes, the dark forces are losing their power. That is the opposition that you talk about, is that they're losing their power, and the light has actually won. The light has come to stay. And as you allow the old ideologies, as you allow the old energies to fall away, as you allow any of the preconceived ideas that you had of reality, of the darkness, as you allow them to fall away, you will actually enable yourself to experience more of the light and more of what's actually there. Because the construct, the lie, is the pain, is the darkness, is the density, is the low vibrational energies. That's actually a lie. That's an illusion of this reality that's been purported for eons. It's been perpetuated for such a long time that the human psyche didn't have any other, there was no other options. There was the only option that the human psyche had, was that this reality is real. But the lower vibrational energies are not actually, it's not actually real. So as you allow that old outmoded ideologies to fall away, you enable yourself to feel, and you actually break up energy inside of you. So you can actually help yourself doing like sweat lodges, doing all sorts of like doing intense exercise. You can physically help the body to experience a new energy by physically shifting the energy inside of your body, because there's a density there that can get shifted through and healed in really practical ways. So you have the power. You don't have to live the life that you've always lived. You don't have to live believing this construct anymore. You have the power to create and recreate any single experience that you would like to create in your life. You have the power.
And you, Stephanie, anything to say?
Yes. So if you understand that we have many different parallel versions of Earth, right? I'm sure many of you heard this before, right? So if we understand that, yes, our reality is shifting, right? We're shifting into a new perspective, a new type of reality. And so this idea of, these old outdated beliefs, just as Sarah was mentioning, this idea of these lower density type of vibrations being very strongly present, yes, in a sense, they are that of illusions, right? But if you really look at the core of these angry or these lower density emotions, they're all coming down from one simple aspect. And that is whomever or whatever is not really living in the awareness of their natural self. And therefore, it creates these certain situations where many people have the illusion that we've got this darkness and this light fight going on, when in reality, this is actually creating these experience for ourselves, so we can look at the contrast within ourselves. And then the more now we are shifting into a different reality, as we said, parallel realities of Earth, now we're shifting into a new type of reality where there is none of these, you could say, opposing forces or opposing vibrations. It is all encompassing of one vibration, that is love. And this is one last thing I just wanted to share about this, is that, going back to Cece described this to me once before, and it was really interesting how she described this, and it took me a bit to understand it. And for some of you, you may not understand it, and that's okay. But it comes down to this. If you think of everything that is happening in your reality, everything that is not preferred, for example, say your sister, I don't know, she slapped you in the face when you were 2. I don't know. Okay. Before you and your sister came to physical Earth, you both had an agreement on a soul level that she, at the age of 2, was going to slap you in the face, or she was going to do something if certain vibrations, if you were a vibrational match to the experience itself. Therefore, if you look at it in that way and say, okay, well, this was an act of unconditional love, because As Sarah said, and as Cece has said many, many times, that we are all love. We are all vibration of love. So when you have these types of agreements, and I say agreements, but do understand that you can always shift anything in your reality, really. But when there is this type of situation that happens and you begin to see it from that perspective, then you understand that everything is not out to get us, and everything essentially is a vibration of love. Now, there are going to be people that are going to say various different things, and that's okay. But this is coming from the higher perspective to see things in that sort of way, because then you begin to understand that maybe my sister, knew that for some reason I had to experience this, and this was going to teach me so and so. And Cece always says, if you have a memory that you did not prefer, that you're still clenching onto, you're having such a hard time with keeping that, then you can go back to that time, go back to that memory, look at it and say, how did this serve me? Right? I know at the time it didn't feel like it did. I knew it was not preferable, but what can I do now? What can I learn from this? How can I use this in my physical reality now? And when you begin to use this in your physical reality, then you are allowing yourself to let go of the baggage. You're allowing to take the initiative of self-empowerment and move forward.
But I agree with what everyone's saying. And Justin, if you have something, jump in too. I just wanted
After this, I have a point later.
Okay. It goes back to the ego. So yeah, there are forces out there that don't want us to wake up, but it's somehow been incorporated into this egoic structure that says that I'm separate, I want, I need, this is me. Because if we just, as we said before, we just are in this moment and we're just in the bliss of this being, everything is right here. And then there's this part of me that says, but I want, I need. And it's like, that's one level of mind or consciousness that I can see within the Pleiadian sandwich here isn't real, it's not real. It's not, although I'm disappearing there. It's
not real. You're an illusion.
Not exactly. Thank you.
I can
Just
disappear
prove my
too.
point.
I'm not an illusion.
That's right. You're not the illusion. But that is the illusion of the egoic mind that wants, needs. And I can drop out of that for a second and say, right now, without that ego, what do you call it? Desperation, maybe. I could say right now, it's good. Everything is fine. So there's just that conflict maybe, and maybe that's purposeful as well, because when I'm not focused on the self, then everything is fine. It's perfect. It's love. It's in flow. It's exactly how it is. And it's peace. It's joy. And then this other part comes in and says, what about me? So
That's the ego.
That's the ego, but it's there. What do we do with it, Miss Sarah? Go ahead, Stephanie.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Let's go. Whatever.
It'll be short, but I was just going to
That's
say
okay.
that maybe it's not so much getting rid of the ego, right? Your ego is what keeps you on physical earth. It is about balancing the ego and the higher self. Because if you could imagine, no matter what you do, your ego is always going to be present. But if you can create an agreement with your ego and your higher self to allow your higher self to be more present, and this is what we are working on collectively, I believe, is the integration of the higher self. The more you can begin to integrate the multidimensional aspects of you in your physical reality, the easier it'll be to understand when you're acting out of this contrasted type of vibration or when you are solely in alignment. Because if you are truly in alignment, in alignment simply means in your center, you've got your higher self balanced, your ego balanced, and you're here on physical earth, then you could say, having a different experience. You can be aware whenever you find yourself shifting off balance because you're already strongly in your alignment. The other thing was that, and it's not so much the idea behind, when you say that you can't control it, or when you say you have a hard time with it, it's like giving your power away. You're giving
Right. No, I just, when it comes up, it's like,
Yeah.
well, there it is again.
So there's pain in the ego. So
Mm.
as soon as you're experiencing some kind of conflict, some kind of pain, some kind of discomfort, you've come off your center. So, and yeah, totally in validation to what Stephanie has said, is that when you're in alignment and in tune, the ego has to be on board. You're not going to have any growth or any change or any movement in your life unless you have the ego on board. I'm a life coach. So like if you're trying to move spiritually and the ego feels like it's going to get left behind, you have to reassure the ego that it's just a new game we're playing. The kind of language that you need to say to the ego is like, okay, things have changed. It's going to be fun. It's going to be okay, but you get to come. And because the ego is like, will try and block you if you don't have it on board. So it's a game, guys. Like this is like, it's all a game. Everything is a game. Life is a game. And we're here to make it lighter and more fun and more integrated. Like as soon as you have that energy that's more integrated, it's like, it's way easier to navigate. I do want to say that I have to go soon.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because I have more work to do this
Okay,
afternoon.
okay.
But
We'll wrap this up. I just want to say, I think we can be here without ego and live in the higher self.
Absolutely.
That's my feeling. Justin, you go ahead, jump in.
Well, I mean, actually, I had a last question, but it's a bit of a bigger one. It's about the disclosure aspect, because I was wondering about the Palladians. What is our government or governments? Are they in touch with you? And can you guys confirm this? Because it seems like in June there's going to be a big disclosure coming from the Pentagon, and I'm curious about, what is, from your perspective, can you confirm that there are relations between our government with you guys?
So I'm not authorized to go political, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
Okay. But can you ask us, can you answer? Is the government in touch with you?
No, I cannot answer.
You cannot answer that. Okay. What, Stephanie?
Well, I was just going to say that, yes, there has been, but we can't confirm that is currently. So there was, but I can't confirm whether or not it is currently.
All right. Any more questions? We're going to wrap it up. The ego is the head of security, but the real self is the captain of the ship.
So true.
That is
I
good.
love it. That's funny.
Ascension is really integration of multidimensionality. There's some good comments here, Steve and Nathan.
Thanks to everyone on YouTube for all of your amazing questions. Really, really thank you for the engagement and for being here and watching. And there's been like all 55 of you. It's really awesome.
Or more.
Yeah, maybe more.
To wrap up, so any other comments, Justin?
No, I've joined this. This has jumped again all over the place. Very multidimensional and deep. Love it.
Right. So how can people get in touch with you, and what do you do?
So I help people to spiritually align with their life, and also to bring in your higher purpose and to realign with relationships in a deeper way through intuitive life coaching and channeling. My website is Sarah, SARAH, Strong, as in muscles.com, sarahjstrong.com. I'm Sarah Strong on Facebook and Sarah_the_strong on Instagram. Feel free to connect with me on any of those platforms. And I just thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Justin. It's been an honor and a pleasure to share space with you.
Pleasure.
And thank you, everyone, for sharing your energy and your wonderful wisdom and questions with us today.
Yeah, thank you. And Stephanie, how do people find you, and what do you do? What services do you provide?
So I offer channeling one-on-one. It is similar to the idea of self-empowerment coaching, but there is no question off the table. So I do channel CC among many other beings, depending on what it is that you would like. I also do workshops. I also do channeling classes. I have channeling programs that are one-on-one that teach you how to channel. I also have a Patreon. My YouTube is Stephanie Light. My Facebook is Stephanie Light. I do have a website. It's on Linktree, but if you go to my Facebook page, Stephanie Light, you'll find the link there and in the description.
Mm. Great, great, great.
Thank you, Ellen.
Hey,
thank you.
yeah, thank you. Next time, maybe we'll hear from Jesus or
Oh, I'd
somebody
love to do that.
like that. Justin,
He's in.
He's
in.
in. Oh, Justin, I want to put your website. What's your website again?
Just justinfland.com.
Justin.land.
No, justinfland.com.
Fland.
Oh, yes.
Fland or fland.com. Just
For Francis, but the F's enough.
the F's. Okay, it's okay. I get it. And you're in Germany. Not that it matters because we're all multidimensional, non-space, non-time. Stephanie, really great to meet you.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you as well.
Likewise, Stephanie.
Keep putting out that beautiful divine. Isn't she in joy when you look at her? You're really in bliss.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And
I appreciate every single one of you guys on the panel, but also everybody on YouTube watching. Thank you so very much. And Sarah, you have a beautiful, beautiful glowing light. Your channeling is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for interacting and connecting with me. I appreciate it.
Oh,
thank you so much.
sweet.
The feeling's very mutual, Stephanie.
So Justin and I do this channeling perspective every 2 weeks on Friday on YouTube, New Realities, on YouTube, youtube.com/New Realities. You can reach me at my email, newrealities@earthlink.net, and just subscribe to this channel. Give us a super chat if you really like what you've seen here. And I also do an ET roundtable every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. East Coast time. We just did one with Sarah and a bunch of other, where they weren't Pleiadians, were they?
No, Arcturian, and I don't know where Sarah's from.
Anyway, lots of different beings. Justin, thank you for being an inspiration.
Thank you, Alan, you as well.
And we are going to do this again. And thank you, everyone on YouTube. Really great chats, except for the obnoxious ones, but except for the ones that were in judgment and fear. But everyone else was really beautiful.
God loves you all.
That's right. No matter how much judgment you have. Thanks again. And we'll sign off. Alan Steinfeld for New Realities with these channels of light.
Thank you.